Hi everybody, I'm Seamus.
I'm Josh.
I'm Rootscar.
And I'm Chris, and we are playing The Last of Us. Well, we're not
I'm
playing
excited.
it yet, but...
Yeah, we
I'm
finally got the console stuff all working.
Working-ish. We've still got 2 sets of headphones,
And
but...
this is actually The Last of Us Remastered because PS4. But it's basically the same game, but with higher quality assets.
Are the assets that higher quality? I actually wonder about that. I don't know if the texture resolution is that improved.
I don't know. It does run in 1080p native and a pretty decent frame rate. They actually have a frame rate lock where you can lock it to 30 frames a second, but I don't know why anyone would actually want to do that.
Can we like declare a rule where we get one conversation like this per week?
Don't forget subtitles. Subtleties. Turn on subtleties.
Oh, yeah, we should do that.
Red October.
Which menu is it?
U5.
And I gotta say,
not that.
I gotta say, I love this little graphical scene here. Like, that is pretty sweet. I don't know if this is remastered or what, but...
Was it under game?
Yeah, it's under game. Also, Marlo Briggs and the quest for subtitles.
That nobody ever has a default, like there's no established...
Right, sometimes it's under audio,
thing for
sometimes
subtitles.
gameplay,
We're gonna play
sometimes
normal.
options.
Sometimes graphics, in which case you're basically fucked.
Yes, you're never gonna find it. You might as well just not even have the option.
Yeah, but I agree with Seamus. That was a very tasteful little scene. And,
Yeah, it was.
you know, it really said a lot about their faith in the player that, you know, it's not like guns blazing and dudes jumping over things. It's like a window at stucco. The only concession to the action in the game is like the very subtle knife resting on the windowsill.
And the plants
Otherwise
coming in the window. Just because this... Yeah.
Okay,
Otherwise, it looks
so...
like framed art that you'd buy at like an Urban Outfitters... No, not Outfitters. Urban Living.
Is that a compliment or an insult? I don't know.
So, for context, for people who don't know, Josh and I have both played all the way through the game. Seamus has watched the game as a movie, but has not played it, and I think Rutskarn is going into this blind.
Except for all the spoilers that happened on the internet, yes, I'm blind.
Cool.
When I watched it as a movie,
Listen to me.
somebody made a cut of this where they took all these cutscenes. They took all the cutscenes and cut them into a movie. This game, stripped of all gameplay, is about 3.5 hours long, which that's pretty amazing. 3.5 hours of movie, and it formed a fairly coherent
I mean, it's
movie.
no Metal Gear, but...
No, but when you think about it, it's a single story. It tells an arc, and it's got some extraneous stuff in the middle. But it's basically a 3.5 hour movie.
So, just to point out that, Joel is coming home, and this is before anything has happened, and he's already worrying about losing his job and is leaving his daughter home alone at midnight. He's already kind of not a great dude, and he will continue to be not kind of a great dude throughout the game.
You like it?
I love how they age him. Okay, spoiler. In a few minutes, we're going to jump ahead 20 years.
I think it's...
And they're going to age him 20 years, and I love how well they do it. Just really, really, they didn't just give him gray hair. They rebuilt his face and his body to make him look like an actual 40-year-old man. Really appreciated that attention to detail as opposed to, oh, but we want the main character to be a buff guy and look awesome. And they made him look a little dumpy as a middle-aged man.
It is interesting. I felt more like I was playing my dad in this game than than like your generic, like 30-something male protagonist with a beard.
Yes. Yeah, and he's appropriately older. He's not driven by young rage and vengeance. He acts more like a middle-aged man. and his problems are in his past and not this burning ember of vengeance that he has to get through. So they really made a conscious effort to not give us that angry 30-something protagonist that we've seen so many times.
Uncle Tommy,
Also, can I say how much I love Sarah's room and how much of her character it conveys with just like posters and some pictures on the wall there, and you get a chance to walk around and look at it, and it's really, really good at selling her character.
Yeah, the game is pretty good with environmental storytelling in general.
Dawn of the Wolf, is that a Twilight thing?
Phone's dead.
Is that
sort of looks like it? Although my instinct is that the game wouldn't like have a little girl character involved that you play that is terribly girly. I think they would think that players would reject that.
I forgot to give this
So
to him.
I don't know. Just going off my cynical impulse, I'd say this girl's probably more of a tomboy, and that the wolf thing is a horror film of some kind.
I mean, there's a wolf holding a woman, so maybe it is a Twilight ripoff. Or the equivalent of Twilight in this universe.
No, it is, because they bring this up later, actually, with posters that are left after the apocalypse, and Ellie comments on them. So it actually is kind of a running joke of, like, Ellie's like, who would like that crap? And it's his daughter that did. And so there's a lot of care and effort put into that kind of thing.
Huh.
Glow-in-the-dark stickers on the ceiling.
They kind of simultaneously. Well, no, actually, you should say that first. You sounded timed.
Glow-in-the-dark stickers on the ceiling. My daughters have that on their ceiling. That's all.
Oh man, I remember glow-in-the-dark stickers.
I just wanted to say, I think it's interesting how what Chris just said simultaneously totally proved me right and totally proved me wrong.
Daddy?
Like, I made a very like sort of snappy, uncharitable judgment call. Which, you know, again, was on something that didn't necessarily mean much by itself. And it was not correct in this context, but it's sort of used to set something else out later on. I don't know.
That's Twilight, isn't that lame? Yeah.
I want to see it in context first, though. I'm not rushing to...
No, that sounds reasonable. The game developer saying, hey, you know that thing you hate? Yeah, we hate that thing you hate, right? We're buddies, right?
Oh, God.
I like this.
Oh no! Someone blew up a pipeline.
Although, was that explosion supposed to be on what was on TV? Because
she said it was nearby.
But that happened in reverse order. Like you should have seen it.
Yeah,
on
it should have happened
afterwards.
first from the window and then from the TV broadcast, assuming a delay.
There's
oh
two
my God,
plumes
magic
of
television.
smoke. I think there were 2 explosions.
This game is about a magic television, you guys.
Yeah.
This is actually a television that saves everyone from the zombie apocalypse.
This is actually a tense scene because you know things are going bad outside, but you only know that because you are familiar with the genre. You don't realize how these characters don't know what's wrong, and they don't know the urgency.
Yeah.
I also maybe this
that creates tension.
I'm still like, you know, barely in my 20s, but I feel a very strong like kinship with young person wandering around an empty house while something bad is going on, uncertain what to do. Like that sort of speaks to me.
Really, this hooked into my dad instincts really, really hard, and I was like, okay, Joel, you gotta get home. Where are you, Joel? Like, as Ellie, I'm like, we gotta find this kid's dad, because he can protect her. Like, I want to protect her because I'm a dad. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking we gotta find dad because dad's the guy and he can protect his daughter. Because I have a daughter and I'd want to protect her, and so it's very deliberately hooking into your dad instincts if you happen to be a dad.
But not in a manipulative or particularly gross way. I mean, it just sort of is.
Right.
And that's what I love about it.
Right. They don't lean on it. They don't lean on it. Like, she doesn't run around and sort of like taunt the player with that urge. They just know how you feel and they allow that to happen. And if you're not a dad, it probably doesn't hit you as hard. Maybe if you're just a young person, you're just like, oh boy, I can't wait to the part where I get to shoot somebody. But for me, I was just really anxious to see these two united.
Where the hell you been?
I love the
That's what-
smoke in this.
That's one thing I've definitely heard about this game is that really, regardless of whether people like it or hate it, everyone agrees it does a really good job of tapping into that sort of like fatherhood protection thing.
Yes. I also love that they don't immediately, oops, zombie apocalypse. They hook up with the brother here, the uncle, you know, and they think, oh, we're just going to go somewhere safe until this blows over, which is more a movie thing to do than a video game. A video game would tend to, oh, we got to get a gun into your hand and we got to get you shooting zombies as quickly as possible. And this isn't afraid to do a more Half-Life-y thing, where this is the tram ride from Half-Life.
It's interesting that you bring up that it's more like a movie, what a movie would do, because this, like, Naughty Dog in particular is sort of the champion of video games as movies with interactivity in them. Like, they've always been big on really nice cutscenes. They've been doing motion capture stuff for a long time.
Also, like, that sort of moment where Joel, like, is clearly shutting his brother up, like, hey, you know, my kid's in the backseat, please don't talk about all the mangled people and freak her out.
Yeah. His fatherly instincts. He's trying to protect her. No, I'm not a big fan of games as movies or games that are trying to be movies, but if you're gonna do it, make sure you're making a good movie, and I think this game at least accomplishes that. Chris, you said it best in your errant signal. It's a perfect implementation of an imperfect idea, and I'll just link that in the show notes to get that out of the way.
I love that this opening sequence shows how dedicated they are, not so much to the zombie, rah, shoot, but to the idea of these characters. Because all three of these, well, I guess not all three of these characters, but these characters are what they're interested in selling, not the zombies. And that's why they're taking their time with it, and I love that.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, now we're going to show you a zombie, and now we're going to show you how someone turns, and they're really not setting up the mechanics of how the zombies work. They're totally uninterested in it. It's focused on the characters, which is absolutely the right move.
So, minor quibble here.
Gee, what a surprise. Everybody else decided to go here too.
Minor quibble, this is the game designers, and to other people who are in related fields. In a situation like this where you're shooting from the back of several individuals, please put the name of the person on the subtitle somewhere, because otherwise it's hugely confusing who's talking.
Yeah, I can't follow the subtitles.
Where's he running from?
Get us out of here.
I'm trying.
Oh no.
These subtitles are good if you're really listening to the game and you're just trying to figure out who is saying what. Like, what did he just say? It's good for that. But if you were like actually hearing impaired and wanted this to know what was going on, it would be absolutely no.
Well, there's also
look what you did, Tommy. You ruined everything.
There's also the Walking Dead approach, which is color code every single line of text into... Walking Dead didn't have that many characters, but even then they had an entire rainbow's worth of puce and lavender, and like you had to associate those colors with people.
But still, that's better than everybody.
The QuickTime events in this game are generally not repeatedly press the button, which I've always hated about QuickTime events.
Press this until your thumb is numb. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so much a, here's some interactivity, it's like, here's an endurance test. Do you want to quit playing the game yet?
Yeah.
I'm here, baby. I'm here. Come on, give me your hand.
I also kind of like how the first person shown, like, getting up close and brutal with the melee combat is not the protagonist.
Yeah. Like, you just see them sidestepping every mistake you think they're gonna make in this game.
Yeah, not even a mistake, just like sidestepping every lazy thing.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Just all the shortcuts that they want to take so they can get you to your man shoots.
Just think about what this game just did, though. They just handed Tommy the knife, or the gun, and you're the one running around unarmed in the beginning of a zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
And it's not it shouldn't be a big thing, but in a video game, it's considered a big thing to, like, not give you the gun.
This would be totally natural in a movie, and in a game, this is totally unnatural. But I'm okay with it. And in fact, I think it's important for the player to spend some time protecting daughter here.
Yeah, and we say
and
that, but here's
to
the
not
thing.
immediately get a gun, so you're not going to start waving a gun around right away.
Yeah.
This
So
is
for
not a
this
time
scene,
for a combat tutorial.
I'm actually going to go ahead and say that even, you know, for this production, for this scene, it would be prohibitively difficult to give the main character.
Yes, it would.
There's too much action going on. There's too many civilians. Implementing the right behaviors and making it so that, you know, your actions, like the douchebaggery and jackassery of the player, has realistic outputs, just would not be possible.
God damn it. We're almost there. We're almost there, baby.
Now, if you brought the gun out at this point, like, that's what they would make you do.
Find a way out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, shoot
Yeah.
one guy while you're alone in an alley.
Yeah, we haven't killed anybody yet.
No.
Get to the highway. Go! You got Sarah.
So at this point, you're thinking, oh no, clearly this guy's going to die and we'll never see him again. Or maybe we'll see him as a zombie.
I immediately, spoiler, this guy lives. And I immediately thought, okay, he's dead. He gave his life so that we could live on. He was our tutorial buddy. But no, this game is like, it's like they knew what the player would expect and deliberately has subverted a lot of it. Okay, gut punch time.
They didn't punch our gut, they got shot.
It's okay, baby. We're safe.
Although,
We're safe.
given that it takes this zombie virus like a day to incubate,
I
I am sort of questioning the speed at which this is all happening.
not sick.
Well, there was like a newspaper back in the house that like said that this was like kind of going on for a while.
Safety in the back ramp, okay?
Like that indicated that this kind of thing, like there was some kind of new disease that was happening, and
Technically, there was a newspaper in Uncharted 3 that said something about a fungus virus that was escaping into the wild.
gee,
I'd love
what
to
is-
know. I'd love to know the
This is
justification. Hang
Nathan
on.
Drake's brother.
I'd love to know the justification for the order to put down a couple of healthy civilians. What the hell was that?
I think it's probably they don't know how it's spreading at this point.
Sarah,
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
corpses-
They don't know it's. Yeah.
I know, baby. I know.
Yeah, so you want lots of rotting corpses everywhere that you have to drag places, as opposed to people that can be herded with guns.
Well, they're probably setting up quarantine zones for people who definitely haven't been exposed
that's
to
how you-
it, and
that's
they
how
don't
you
want to risk
quarantine.
bringing people who
You-
could have
You
been.
murder the people around in the area.
Yeah.
That's how a quarantine works. It's basically just an
Fortunately,
abattoir.
this does not roll with Romero rules where corpses become zombies.
Yeah.
I love
But
this
this is-
score right here.
Oh, this is a lot.
Well, the
This
score in
scene is
general in this
hard.
game is really nice.
Even with all our commentary going on, this is really hard for me to watch. Like, oh, this is gut punch. Like, I seriously, like, I'm having trouble watching.
Yeah, I mean, I
This is
imagine
really
it's probably
painful for me.
worse for you
And see,
because
here-
you have kids.
here's where their hard work is paying off. Because imagine if they'd, like, everything up to that point had just been dumb and formulaic and thoughtless. If you,
And then you'd be
got
like,
to the point,
yes.
yeah, it's a stock story up to that. It would be a stock story up to that point. So this twist would be a stock twist. It would be placed in
Yes.
the context of a paint by the numbers narrative that's clearly leading up to gut punch after gut punch. It doesn't have that organic nature that makes it identify as actual suffering happening to actual people.
And it would feel, I would resent it because I'd be like, hey, I have a gun. Why can't I shoot this guy? Why did I get killed in the cutscene? Why'd you take that away from me? It's stupid. You know, you would start thinking of it mechanically instead of narratively.
Yeah, it's like, imagine if this was like if this followed the same pattern that we were expecting of it, and like you get to the point, even if like it hadn't been established that it was willing to break some rules, and you get to the point where your brother shuts the door and he's got the gun, he's like, go, I'll be fine, and your head be like, yeah, you'll be fine. Listen, can I have the gun? And
Exactly.
your wallet. Do you have any currency in your wallet? Oh, can I take that shirt? I might need to tie a tourniquet later.
Yeah.
What size shoes?
Can
do
I
you wear?
just strip your Can I just strip your corpse now? Yeah. So this is the difference between this game and Some Kid Died. You know, it doesn't take a lot of time, but it does take a lot of finesse if you want us to care about a kid.
It's not just that though, because it's some kid died in Mass Effect 3 sucks because some kid died and it has no relation to you and no thematic bearing other than he keeps coming back as a nightmare.
Yeah, it was literally, this is a kid, feel bad.
Sarah's death is literally a core... Well, not just it's not even that it's his kid. It's that Sarah's death is a core thematic element of Joel's entire arc, or lack of an arc, if you will. You know, the entire basis of the game is based around Joel's relationship with Ellie, and that entire relationship is informed by Sarah's death. So it's not just like a... It's not just that it's sad and done right. It's that it really is the basis of the game, and that helps sell it.
They weren't just trying to wring tears out of you and make you care. They were actually talking about it. We're bringing this thing out and for a payoff, because we're going to talk about it.
So Joel is talking to I can't remember her name immediately, but Tess. That's Joel is talking about a job they pulled earlier. So basically, in the 20 years in between, Joel has sort of become a bit of a mercenary, kind of a raider-ish guy.
Yeah.
Smuggler, yeah. Smuggler's probably a better word for it.
I hate the smuggler angle, because it's like, wait, what do you smuggle? It's the apocalypse. But go ahead. I don't want to get into that yet.
Well, I mean, they do have things to smuggle, because they live currently inside a city that is protected by...
Yeah, this is...
I'll nitpick it when the time comes. Go. I don't want to interrupt your thought.
Old warehouse and area.
Well, no, I just want to point out that again, Joel is kind of not a cool dude. He is kind of a jerk. He's kind of done some bad things.
Yeah.
He's more of a noble smuggler now than he was before. We'll get to it when he gets to Tommy's place, but he used to be a much worse person. He used to basically be a raider, and now he's a smuggler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Han Solo is a smuggler, and everybody loves him, so...
I
Maybe not
really
the best
like
profession to pick to point out that this is not a cool guy.
I really like the guts of that scene. It basically took the narrative from, oh no, zombie apocalypse happening, to this is crime drama now. You know, now it is crime drama, you are going to kill a guy. And that's, like, it tells you everything you need to know. Like, it's not a big deal, this is just your life now. You know? Shit happened in the interim, don't worry about it yet, just worry about where you are and what tomorrow is going to be like.
I was actually really surprised at the 20-year time skip. I was kind of expecting this to be a sort of Walking Dead story where it's a bunch of survivors from when the apocalypse first started band together and find their way through to some thing or other. So that caught me off guard, that it was like, oh, this is pretty much like way after the apocalypse. Society is continuing on as best it can.
Seamus has written extensively about how this is done.